Well, ultimately, it is a 4-3 loss in regulation for the Edmonton Oilers, falling to 2-6-1 on the season. The Dallas Stars came in riding high, had won back-to-back games, won last night by the same score in Calgary, and the Oilers unable to hand the Stars a defeat. 50 shots they peppered at Scott Wedgwood tonight. So we'll see what Matt Cassian has to say. We'll get to what you have to say as well. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Oil Stream Postgame Show right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. If you're listening on your way back from the game or on your radio, you can hit us up 780-218-9999. Or if you're watching on the Edmonton Sports Talk YouTube channel, you can get into the nasty chat. I see it humming already, like it tends to do after an Oilers loss. All right, let's get into the scoring summary as the Oil fall 4-3 in Sam Gagner's return. What a great story that was. Unfortunately, it didn't have the Cinderella fairy tale ending, although Sam Gagner tried to do everything in his power to make it happen for the Oilers tonight, who I will say I think overall played a good game, but their mistakes against a team like Dallas absolutely sewered them. And we'll get to Matt Cassian shortly when it comes to that element of the game. All right, let's get to the scoring summary and tail of the tape. In the first period, Matt Duchene on a bad read by Cody Ceci, which created a 2-on-1. Duchene buries his second goal of the season at 8:08 from Marchment and Lindell to make it 1-0 Dallas. The Oilers would respond. This guy had another strong game. Evander Kane picking up his third of the season from Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Bit of a broken play, but the Oilers fortuitous and took advantage of that opportunity. Kane with a nice snapshot past Scott Wedgwood at 17 minutes into the first period. 1-1 after 1 in the second period. This is where it kind of unraveled a bit for the Oilers before that they made their bit of a comeback bid. Joe Pavelski, he gets his fourth of the year from Rope Hintz and Miro Heiskanen. That goal coming at 3:25. One-timer where Stuart Skinner had no chance on that one. Again, a breakdown in front of the Oilers netminder. Surprise, surprise. Bad turnovers, too, in this game from Philip Broberg. He had one where led directly to a goal, trying to dump in the puck. And a backhand dump-in attempt that was weak. He fell down. Puck comes back the other way, and the Stars score. Rope hits his fourth of the season to make it 3-1 Dallas at 16:06 from Joe Pavelski and Jamie Benn. That goal coming on the power play. A bit of a broken play, scramble off the rush in front of Stuart Skinner to make it 3-1. To the third period we go, and it's Rope Hintz again to make it 4-1 Dallas from Pavelski and Robertson. Then the Oilers make it interesting, or should I say Sam Gagner makes it interesting. I swear, after he scored this goal, a greasy goal, mind you, something that Matt Cassian talked about on the pregame show, that Sam Gagner has that element of greasiness to his game. And we saw that on Gagner's first goal as an Oiler since February 19th of 2020. When he scored against the Boston Bruins. While Gagner's back third stint, he scores to spark the club at 10:35 from Ceci and Kulak. Scramble in front of Wedgwood, and Gagner pokes it home. They almost gave him a standing O. You could see the crowd wanted to give him a standing O. A few people started standing for Gagner, who was pumped up after scoring that one. Good for him, making it 4-2 for Dallas at that point. And then Gagner again off a face-off. We see the Oilers break in. Evander Kane gets the puck on the net. Gagner kind of sweeps it home past the sprawling Scott Wedgwood at 13:36 to make it 4-3. The Oilers would get the net empty with the extra attacker and couldn't convert with a good, I think it was around at least a minute 45 when they pulled Stuart Skinner, maybe even more. And they had all kinds of zone time. They had some looks, and they couldn't beat Scott Wedgwood ultimately. And they peppered him, like I said earlier, with 50 shots. Edmonton giving up just 27 shots. Edmonton also very strong tonight on the faceoff dot, 60.3% to 39.7. The power play and we are going to talk about this. The power play does go 0 for 4. We hear Jay Woodcroft talking about timely goals from the power play. It came into the game tonight sitting 9th in the NHL, and I know that's still pretty good, but not clicking at that 30% rate, maybe a little bit off at times, missing McDavid for a couple of games. Had some great looks tonight. Evan Bouchard on the same power play, about 20 seconds apart, ringing the post when it was still 1-1 a couple of times on a man advantage opportunity. They couldn't score, and then the Stars go back and score later on the Oilers to take the lead. The PK just 1 for 2 on this night. Hits 22-21 in favor of the Oilers. Block shots 25 for Dallas to 12 for Edmonton. Your final 4-3 in favor of the Dallas Stars. 780-218-9999 if you want to get in on the conversation. And if you're watching on our EST YouTube chat or channel, get into the chat, the nasty chat. Behave yourselves. I'm looking for expletives. I don't see any, but certainly join the conversation, and we will pluck a bunch of those comments and questions as we proceed here on the Oil Stream Postgame Show. Let's bring in our game analyst, former NHLer, Matt Cassian. Hopefully he's recuperated, had some... Did you have a hot toddy, Cass? I know you weren't feeling too great.
And chamomile tea. So I went with the tea with some honey, left the whiskey in the rum out of it, but it was nice. Soothed the throat a little bit. So we'll see. Good. We'll see how she holds up here.
All right. Well, you're sounding good. So maybe that honey coated the throat. Maybe you're feeling okay. And it gets you through a good 15 to 20-minute run on the post-game show. 4-3, the Oilers fall. And Cass, just your impressions of the game overall tonight, because it looked bad at one point, looked bleak. And that was after a pretty decent start where it was tied 1-1. And then all of a sudden, Sam Gagner, with what you said, the greasiness, helping provide a little spark to this team. What did you make overall of the game tonight?
Well, if the Oilers were like 4-3-1 or like 5-2-2 or something like that heading into this one, we probably would look at this game and say, well, they played a really good game. They had a couple bad mistakes that cost them. They played a good game against a good team. So that's going to happen sometimes. However, if we look at this in light of the whole season, we have to say they had a chance to win this game. They should have had a chance to win this game. They certainly had opportunities to score where they didn't put the puck in the net and they needed to. And then you had 4, I would say, big mistakes again that absolutely cost you. 4 big mistakes again that absolutely cost you. And if I look at it, I go, the Dallas Stars earned maybe one of those. They earned maybe one of those. And that one, I would say maybe the power play goal, which, you know, I think still, so that goal 3 against Ryan Nugent-Hopkins gets a little puck focused on the zone entry, drifts over away from where he should, ends up chasing a little bit. His feet aren't moving, and you end up with essentially what ends up being a 3-on-1 in front of the net with Darnell Nurse. That one you go, okay, you know, little mistake by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. It's a power play. They score a goal. But in the other ones, I mean, you have the pinch on goal number 1 against, which was a bad pinch.
That was CC, bad read, right?
Just a bad read. You have goal 2, which was a horrible turnover by Broberg. And did he see the ice again after that?
I saw him for one shift in the third period, and
maybe
I was
that's
surprised.
It. Yeah, he played like 5.5 minutes to 6 minutes. But you can't listen. Your whole team's going for a change at that point. You cannot. You can't have that happen.
No,
which is the message. That's why you find your butt planted on the seat, especially when you have extra defenseman out there. You're not going to play. But that was that one. Goal 2 against was the Broberg turnover, and then goal 3, Bouchard on the zone entry. It's a 3-on-2, so it is an odd man rush against. But after when the middle lane drive happens, so Heinz is driving through the middle of the ice. Broberg literally stands straight up. And Bouchard, sorry, stands straight up and turns and doesn't take a single stride and lets Heinz just have free lane right into the net. You can't fault Stuart Skinner on that one at all. Again, and again for Bouchard, who actually I thought was decent. Like I thought Bouchard had a pretty good game. So I want to get that out of the way. You know, he needs to bury one of his chances. I know he hit the post a couple of times. Needs to find a way to actually put the puck in the net in a game like this. But you look at that and it's like, well, there's we'll call it 3 out of 4 egregious or semi-egregious mistakes that you made that a good team capitalized on.
Yep.
And that bites you, and it smarts. And I think people are upset, and they should be upset. I don't think they got goalied. It wasn't that Wedgwood played unbelievable. I think the Edmonton Oilers had some opportunities to score, and they didn't score. And it wasn't because of unbelievable, amazing goaltending. They didn't have finish. And that costs you, along with making a couple big mistakes again. And I said it already, but if they had a great start to the season and they were playing really well, we kind of go, okay, that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a team that you can't afford to have that happen. You can't afford to have, your guys like McDavid and Draisaitl not producing offensively in a key game against a good team. You can't have it. So it's still, you're going to look at this one and go, yeah, there's some good things. You can pull some great things from video, but you still lost a hockey game. And at this point, you still haven't strung 2 wins together all season, and it's not good enough.
Well, 2-6-1 is their record. No bones about it. Unacceptable for a team that thinks or wants to be considered a cup contender. A lot of us picking them to be right in the mix. And this first 9 games has certainly not panned out the way many of us predicted it would. Cass, on that goal where Bouchard stopped skating, the one other thing I thought about was that at all, and I don't know, I can't remember if it was McDavid on the back check, was that at all McDavid's man? And I know Hintz was coming in on a crossing pattern like he tends to do, like he has burnt the Oilers in the past, like he burnt the Flames last night with. I would have loved to have seen Bouchard have a little bit of giddy up in his saddle there, but he didn't have any, and he just kind of watched Hintz blow by him and tap it in.
Yeah, I mean, it's to me, it's pure Bouchard from and I just pulled it up again here on the side watching it. So number one is it's a call him mid-developing 3-on-2. So there's some space, like it starts at the Dallas blue line really. And the play here, well, first I'll say Bouchard's first big thing is he throws himself way off balance in his route, his gap route, takes him way too far outside the dots. Because when the puck moves, so it gets kicked out to Edmonton's right wing, Dallas's left wing. So Bouchard's side of the ice, right side for Bouchard, and he's gapping up. His feet both are outside the dot. So his path takes him. So he is way outside the dot, which means that his pivot, when he pivots, and Ekholm plays it properly, so he starts sliding over to play essentially a 2-on-1, which is what he's supposed to do.
Right.
So he's supposed to slide to play that 2-on-1, but Bouchard's pivot, by the time he turns, he's outside, 3 feet outside the dots. And then again, he stops skating. And from the top of the circle all the way to when the puck is in the net, he doesn't take a single stride. He just coasts the whole way.
Yes.
So, problem one, basically gets caught flat-footed outside the dot. Problem 2, he stops skating. McDavid's doing what he's supposed to be doing, which is trying to leave some of the pressure. Ekholm's doing what he's supposed to be doing, which is trying to play the 2-on-1. I mean, and now if we want to criticize Ekholm, we got to say, puck can't go through you. Goalie's got the shooter in that situation. Shooter's really at the dot. And you need to let the goalie have that, make sure the puck doesn't go through. So, we can pin a little bit of that pass on Ekholm in that instance. McDavid's back checking. He doesn't do anything wrong there. But the big proponent to this is Bouchard, standing quite literally straight and not moving his feet from the time he pivots to the time the puck's in the back of the net.
All right, let's dip into the text line as well as the nasty chat, 780-218-9999 if you're listening on your way home. And if you're watching, you can get into the nasty chat on our EST YouTube channel. Okay, here's a question. Comes in from Brian in the TAC. Brian says, why is it that Broberg makes 1 mistake and has to ride the pine while Bouchard makes 4 mistakes that led to a goal against the other night and never gets benched? I have lost all respect for Woodcroft and his playing favorites. He does not treat his players the same, and if I was playing, I wouldn't want to skate for him. Time to think about a coaching change in the YEG. That's from Brian in the TAC, who throws in a thanks. Cass, go for it.
Yeah, no coaching change is coming. I mean,
no,
that's not gonna that's not going to solve anything. I mean, I appreciate the frustration. To me,
Yes.
coaching and the frustration is well earned, I would say, based on the season. But a coaching change to me doesn't really do much. Um, what is it? It's not going to, again, it's not going to fix those personal mistakes. Now, I get the question
Hmm.
of keeping some guys accountable and not other guys.
Right.
At the same time, you can't bench everybody. So it's, you only have so many levers you can pull. I mean, could you pull back on Bouchard's PP minutes? Maybe let Nurse in there. But he's a lefty. So it's kind of like, who else do you have to throw? So
Yeah.
you can't really pull back on that. And it's not like the power play has been bad. Again, it hasn't been great, but it hasn't been atrocious.
True.
So it's like, well, what do you do? And for Bouchard, I will say this is he has, for the warts that he's had this season, he's made mistakes
Oh yeah.
that probably, if I'm thinking of, well, I guess he had the one in Philly where it wasn't a turnover, but where
And
he
he
just
was
got
terrible in
absolutely walked.
Minnesota, among
So
many.
he's had some bad nights. I don't know. I mean, you move him down a pairing for the one game, half a game, kind of to try to send a message. But the trouble is you don't have many other options. That's the problem. So what are you going to do? There's only so many levers you can pull if you're Jay Woodcroft. And yeah, I mean, again, I don't think a coaching change is coming. But that is the big question: is for a guy like Bouchard, is how do you spark that? But to me, Tom, that even the like that goal against the challenge with Evan Bouchard is we all see, and the organization undoubtedly sees, is raising that level of intensity at times. Because
Yes.
that's a lackadaisical, again, a passive mistake of just kind of opening up and just kind of go this way instead of being really, really assertive with yourself. And it's just really, really hard to coach into players.
Totally frustrating. I get it. And then just on the Broberg side, Cass, with the terrible giveaway. And listen, we're not giving Evan Bouchard a free pass whatsoever, but Bouchard a little bit older, or a tiny bit older, a little more certainly way more relied upon. And I think that some of that kicks in when you're the top power play guy at the point. You're expected to be at a certain level, although sometimes he doesn't deliver. And you got Philip Broberg, who's just trying to break in still and make himself an everyday player. And he's making mistakes like that lead directly to goals as well. I don't think he gets the leash certainly
No.
as much as Evan Bouchard at this point in his career.
No, definitely does not. And that's something you have to earn. And for Evan Bouchard, you have to earn it. Like, that can't happen. I mean,
Yeah.
and I knew as a fourth line guy, that play happens, you're not playing again the rest of the night. Now, if it happens to Leon Draisaitl, he's going to get thrown back out there. If it happens to McDavid, he's going back out there. But for bubble guys, players trying to establish themselves or on the bubble or that are filling the role, and it is a role, and it's an important role of being a depth player, you can't make those mistakes. You can't make those mistakes. And that's a hard place to be, especially as a player that maybe has some skill, definitely has more skill than I ever did. Broberg does. Definitely a better skater than I ever was. Players in those positions that you can't make mistakes, or the mistakes have to be minute. You can't make big mistakes, I would say. Otherwise, you punch yourself a ticket to the bench or the lineup or to Bakersfield. That's the reality of it.
Okay. Well, good segue, because I'm going to get to a couple of nasty chat comments here. Jay Bobby says, Broberg looked pretty rattled. I'd be hesitant to put him back out there too. And then I saw one earlier from Kay. Kay says, Sam Gagner tied with Connor McDavid, 2 goals after 9 games. And then there was one more from Ryan S. said, my concern is McDavid was silent. Leon missed every shot. That is true. And we also saw Connor Brown go down due to injury in the second period, did not come out for the third period. So there's another right winger injured. Broberg obviously not delivering to the level needed from him at this point. If Connor Brown and his injury isn't LTIR worthy, could you see Broberg being sent down, doesn't need waivers, and then a Raphael Lavoie call-up? Or if it is a situation where Connor Brown is going to need a couple of weeks where you can put him on LTIR, is it as simple as saying, yep, get Raphael Lavoie up here and then try to fix up the mistakes that continue to plague this team 9 games in?
Well, you might have to. I mean, it does all just depend on the severity of it. And it looked like a pulled groin,
Hmm.
pulled hip flexor. So depending on severity, you don't know. Could be a week, could be 2 weeks, could be 3 weeks. Unsure. Now, would it surprise me if the team says, hey, we know this is probably going to be a week and a half. Maybe let's see if the player will fudge us a little bit and give us the
Right.
2 weeks. That
Hmm.
might happen. So we'll have to see. And Broberg becomes the easy one to send down because he doesn't need waivers.
Right.
And after playing a couple minutes tonight, you might look to do that. Now, is that going to make him go a little bit poopy pants and phone the agent and start demanding trades and this and that? Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, but if you need another forward, you need another forward, and with your cap space, you're going to have to do something, especially if it's going to be a short-term injury and you're not going to get cap relief. So, is it Lavoie? Yeah, I would lean towards probably.
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, clearly Gagner for tonight was a solid choice. I mean, he punched his ticket for a couple games here with that showing tonight. So yeah, Lavoie might end up being the guy. But we'll have to see. I mean, we'll have to see post-game update here. Probably not going to give us much today. They're probably going to
Right.
talk about evaluating and reevaluating in the morning. But depending on the severity, yeah, I mean, you're going to have to get another forward up here somehow.
Yep, absolutely you are, especially being shorthanded the way the Oilers already are and rolling out a 21-man roster to start the year. Couple of texts via the nasty chat. Let's get to those. Adam Bodnerchuk says Gagner played harder tonight than the whole bottom six has all season. Although I agree, and Sam had a very strong game and he was rewarded with a couple of goals and provided that spark in the third period. I did like the play of Dylan Holloway tonight, Cass. And I thought that tonight was actually one of the nights where Ryan McLeod was using his feet to his advantage and playing with a bit of intentionality, as you like to say. And even Derek Ryan, I thought, had some really good looks today and when he was out there was trying to make the most of his limited ice time. Is that a fair comment or did you see it a little
Yeah,
bit
no,
differently?
I think so. I think, Ryan McLeod seemed a little more engaged today and physically a little bit more engaged, which was good to see. Um, and maybe some of that just was feeding off of Gagner and feeding off of the moment a little bit where they had some intensity again. Like
Hmm.
if we look, I don't necessarily want to say up and down the lineup, but it wasn't like they played a bad, horrible, awful game. They just made big mistakes that
Yes.
absolutely cost them. You can't have happen.
Yes.
And to go to Ryan S's comment earlier, you had McDavid and Draisaitl silent on the power play as well, right? So you had your big guns that were kind of missing in
Yep.
some key moments where they needed to put the puck in the net. But McLeod, yeah, I thought he upped his intensity a little bit today. Holloway, I thought similar, like where he seemed more engaged today, which is good. I mean, you saw some good things and I think some solid things from the bottom six. But at the end of the day, for as much as we want to talk about maybe how some of those guys upped the intensity or played a decent game, which I think they did,
Hmm.
you still lost 4-3 and you still didn't get 2 points.
Yep. That's totally fair. McDavid and Draisaitl. Quiet night for those guys. Draisaitl, I know a couple of those passes that came cross ice were rockets across the ice. Couldn't connect on them. And then it seemed like the puck on his stick wasn't the same as it normally is, as it is 90% of the time when he's going. And we've seen him have some off nights, certainly in recent years, despite how good he's been. And then McDavid, there is still something lingering there. I think it's as simple as that. I mean, his shot, Cass, if I suggested to you that his shot seemed like it was a fraction of a second slower or later than usual, and defensemen were able to get sticks on it and get in the way of it. Would that be a fair assessment as well?
I don't know if that would necessarily be the assessment. I mean, the reality too is you're playing against like a Heiskanen who's one of the best defenders in the league. And if we're looking at guys that have tools to stop McDavid or to slow him down or to shut him down, he's up there on my list
Mhm.
of guys that have the capacity to do it. Um, Draisaitl, I mean, we we forget that for a lot of those passes and that one timer through from that spot is like we, we're maybe sort of putting it towards the net 1 out of 15, 1 out of 20 times. Like
Yes.
but we've seen him do it with such consistency that that I think it is fair to look at it and say he had an off night and he was fighting the puck. I think a few turnovers as well,
Yep.
which I think to me anyways, when Draisaitl's playing really well, he either is connecting on those or he's not making those backhand passes through the middle. Like his best game usually is when he's not just kind of hoping with those plays, when he
Right.
sees them and he's actually making them as opposed to just throwing the puck. McDavid, I don't think injury wise, this shot should be affected where it takes him longer to get off. I mean, I could see the explosiveness of when he's got the puck, which maybe we've seen a little bit of that. But I don't know, Tommy. I don't think personally, anyways, in my opinion, that injury wise, it should be affecting him at least in his ability to release the puck. Yeah. I mean, it is something to think about at least, though.
Sure. Yeah. A rare off night for those two, and they were being defended by a couple of the best in the National Hockey League. That defense from the Dallas Stars, big, mobile, and they jam you up wherever they get a chance to, and they do it often. 780-218-9999 if you want to text in and you're listening on your way home from the game, or you just have us on via the audio stream. Let us know your thoughts, and then we will get to some more comments from the nasty chat, which I see continues to go strong. This text comes in from Dirty Curdy. Dirty Curdy says, Samwise is a great story, heart of a lion, but here comes the Oilers. Wedgied, goalied, whatever. Stars looked mediocre on a back-to-back and still found a way to poop the bed, the Oilers did, at home. Sub 850 save percentage, 0 Broberg. Nervous, soft, not an NHLer right now. Kane, excellent again. In parentheses, best player, says Dirty Curdy. Dry and Connor lifeless after 3 days off. Fail. Nuge playing in one gear all game. Neutral. Bush, the only threat on the power play. This has become enough of a sample size. Is this team just what it is? A wagon of dreadful results? Dirty Curdy. Do you want to take a stab at Dirty Curdy's? Dirty Curdy gives us some pretty detailed post-game breakdowns, but
yeah,
which I appreciate.
Yeah, some pretty emotional ones too. Boy, where to start?
He's right about Kane. Kane had a good night. We can
Kane
acknowledge
had a good
that.
night.
Yes.
Kane had a good night. Yeah, no, and I texted you that during the game too. I was like, no, Kane, I really like Kane's game, and he seems to have woken up the last couple, which is really good.
Absolutely.
Now, what? Read me the part again. Just his was it not the bandwagon, but the read the middle part of that again.
The middle part. Sub 850 save percentage, 0 Broberg, nervous, soft, not an NHLer right now. I think you kind of hammered on that a bit. Talked about Kane, excellent. Dry and Connor lifeless after 3 days off. Fail. Nuge playing in one gear all the time. Neutral. Bush, only threat on the power play. This has become enough of a sample size. Is this team just what it is? A wagon of dreadful results.
That's what I was looking for. Maybe it was the end of it. The wagon of dreadful results.
I got you.
Yeah, I don't think this team, we haven't seen the best that this team can offer. And I think there is more, but the problem is they're just digging themselves a hole. And every time you lose right now, you're digging yourselves a deeper and deeper hole to dig your way out of. Mm-hmm. On the save percentage, what do we expect Stuart Skinner to do tonight? Like, I mean, 3 of those goals, there was nothing he could do. Nothing he could do. So I'm just going to
hints one I didn't love.
Yeah, you didn't love that one.
Yeah.
So 1 out of 4.
Yeah.
The other 3, there's nothing. I mean, you expect him to make backdoor tap-in saves? Like that's not going to happen.
Unrealistic. Yeah.
But let's just jump on it. Is this team, kind of what it is already at this point? No, I don't think so. And maybe that's the little optimist in me that's still alive, still kicking, that still likes a lot, because again, we saw a lot of stuff we could like today. Mm-hmm. And for all that we just said, McDavid and Draisaitl weren't able to produce. Draisaitl not feeling the puck well today after a couple of days off. I mean, I still know that those are 2 of the best players in the world, and off nights for them are generally few and far between. And I do know if they find a way to produce, and if they would have found a way to score, which they need to in games like this, then we probably are looking at a little bit of a different outcome. Because again, the team didn't play bad today. I thought they played pretty well. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do you feel that this is all the best we're seeing from the Edmonton Oilers right now, Tommy?
No, not at all. The boneheaded mistakes, it seems like they're starting to limit but you make them like they did multiple times against a team like the Dallas Stars, and you're going to get absolutely destroyed on them. And they did. And, good for the Oilers to try to bounce back and get that spark from Sam Gagner. But yeah, Cass, like when they continue to make those dumb mistakes, those errors, those shooting themselves in the foot type of plays, I was like, they kind of limited them, but they got murdered for them because the Dallas Stars are just that good right now, it seems like. I feel like that's the case, at least.
Yeah.
Hontorio Momes via the nasty chat says McDavid and Dry both are making a ton of hope plays and shots. I thought we saw a lot of that. I'm with Hontorio Momes in that statement tonight, Cass.
Yep.
I'm not too sure. Yeah, so you're with them there. Carmen says, Tom, can we call up Lavoie, please? It seems like the Condors players care more about playing than the Oilers, not including Kane, says Carmen. I think depending on this injury to Connor Brown, we will likely see Raphael Lavoie. I did see a text, and I want to get to it. It's from CB Radio Guy, who says, how do the Oilers get out of this Brown contract? This is bad, guys. Yeah, he hasn't been there all year. I chatted with some people from the organization tonight prior to the game. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. And until he got hurt, Cass, and I think we hit on it a little bit too. Is like it looked like Connor Brown's game was getting slightly better, and we talked about it a bit on the pregame show. And that was kind of something that I was told today. It was like, hey, listen, it looks like he's starting to make strides and he's getting better. And listen, he blew up his knee last year. They knew it was going to take time. I was even told, hey, maybe not until December where he would really hit his stride with this team. But an injury today, so they're not getting out of this contract, Cass.
No, they're not. No, they're not. But let's throw them on LTIR until the trade deadline.
Sure.
And then, or actually till the trade deadline. Well, I guess you wanted to play a little bit more before that. So Get them back in the lineup, let them play until after the trade deadline, then put them on the LTIR, actually right at trade deadline until the start of playoffs.
Yeah.
And maybe one more guy too, if they crawl back into the playoff race. Then, free up like 10 mil of cap space and do something fun.
Pull a Kucherov. Yeah, something like that. Or a Stone. Okay, let's read a couple more texts, and then we're going to get Cass's look ahead to Saturday's matinee game against the Nashville Predators. KCF, not a happy camper tonight. KCF says, McDavid with 4 even strength points. Why wasn't Gagner out at the end of the game? Team defensemen are atrocious. That from KCF. This text says, what trade would wake this team up? Something needs to happen. Connor and Leon aren't playing well. The team is too passive. No name on that text. This one, also no name as well, says, this goaltending and power play is killing the team. What a waste of the Sam Gagner and Evander Kane show.
For you guys got away.
Yeah, I feel like a couple mistakes get magnified, end up in your net. I thought for the most part, we drove play. It's just a matter of just having that intensity throughout the game to bear down on certain things that happen. So I think there's a lot to like too, a lot to build off of, and we just got to keep pushing forward.
Many goals on the rush.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, when you turn pucks over, you don't track properly, all those different things. We talked before the game, that's a team that scores off the rush, and they made us pay on that. But like I said, I thought we carried the flow of play. There's a lot to like. It's just, you got to keep trying to battle through it. It's never comes easy in this league, so we're going to come back tomorrow and get to work and keep trying to build our game.
So as somebody who kind of just got here, do you have like maybe a fresh perspective? What's the mood like in the room from the guys?
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's obviously not the start anybody wanted. There's been a lot of expectations on this group, and you know, when it doesn't go exactly as you planned, I think it's hard to see, you know, the kind of the positivity throughout games. You kind of wait for bad things to happen, and when they do, it's, you know, it kind of has a snowball effect. So I think it's just a matter of finding that joy again, finding, you know, the urgency to make sure we're getting things done correctly, and you know, if it doesn't go exactly our way, just pushing through it and enjoying the process of it. I mean, it's a great opportunity for us ahead of us to climb the standings, and we're going to keep pushing forward.
Looked awfully excited to get those goals.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I thought, like I said, I thought, you know, we were still in that game, and you want to make a big play and score a goal to try and help us rally. And I think, you know, we had a lot of chances. We created a lot. We had a lot of looks with the goalie pulled, and just couldn't find a way to get the equalizer. But there was a lot to like, and you know, we have to make sure we're looking at positives too, and you know, building those into our game.
All right, so there was Sam Gagner, 2 goals in his return to the Oilers, first as a member of the Orange and Blue since February 19th, 2020. Great save by Matthew Iwanek there, throwing to Sam Gagner after my audio cut out for some reason. Apologies for that. All right, Cass, let's take a look ahead. Maybe a thought on Sam Gagner and what he said there, and then a look ahead to Nashville on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, well, he sounded like Sam Gagner, pretty even keeled.
Yes.
And I mean, it says some things that you agree with. You still want to build on positives, and they did a lot of good things. At the same time, the expectation isn't moral victories at this point. So, you know, you gotta take the good things, build on it where you can. For as much as even I'm saying moral victories aren't good enough, you got to pull what you can from that game. And you got to start to find ways to win. I mean, it was great that they pushed back. It was great that they had some momentum at the end of the game and they put pucks to the net, but it was still too little too late. So yeah, just gotta find a way. And then looking forward, you know, afternoon games, Tom, afternoon games, that pregame breakfast, stay away from the pancakes.
Yep.
Get your chicken and rice in you. Don't be weighed down with bacon and sausages and all the things that we love to eat. But hey, a little bit of a different preparation on that day. You know, there ain't going to be no morning skate most likely. But you know, heading into it, on the plus side, we can expect that Leon Draisaitl is probably going to have an afternoon, as he typically does. So hopefully that pulls him back into it.
Yes.
But I mean, every game, Tommy, at this point right now is a must-win game. You got to start stringing wins together here, and you can't string losses together. So it's another massive game, massive opportunity. I mean, I would be encouraged if they can win that game and they play another 60 minutes and you kind of go, okay, you know, they lost today. They made some big mistakes, but at least if they have a good game on Saturday, at least they've played a couple in a row where we're like, okay, they've been actually decent the last few, and hopefully it gives us some more hope.
Cass, you were more than decent tonight. I know you're fighting a bit of a cold. Excellent work. Get some rest. Honey, whatever else, hot toddies, a little bit of lime juice, whatever, all those remedies that are supposed to work. Chicken noodle soup. I know Mandy will take care of you. You'll be fighting fit by Saturday afternoon.
I think I will be, Tom. We should be good to go.
All right, buddy. Good job as always. We'll talk to you on Saturday.
Thanks, buddy.
That is our game analyst, Matt Cassian, helping us to break down the Oilers' 4-3 loss to the Dallas Stars. 780-218-9999. If you want to text us, the nasty chat goes on. I will get to some texts and some messages from the nasty chat as well. Paco says, am I allowed to be disappointed with McDavid and Draisaitl? Are they consistently giving the puck away, or is it just good defense? No, it seems like, Paco, they've been trying a little too much, and right now it's not working. So very frustrating indeed. And I think your read of that is completely fair. Next text comes in and says, where was Gagner when Skinner was pulled? Professor Woody, what the? No name on that text, but I would have put the hot hand out there, that being Sam Gagner. He was feeling it in that third period. I think he had a pretty good game overall. He played 13 minutes tonight, had those 2 goals, +2, 3 shots, or pardon me, 3 hits, 5 shots, won 83% of his faceoffs, Sam Gagner did, in his second return to the Edmonton Oilers. This one from Daniel via the nasty chat says, hopefully Sam's performance. I see some spelling mistakes there. My bad, Daniel. I should have picked up on those. Hopefully Sam's performance sparks the team. Give them some kind of kick, especially for the bottom 6. Seemed to do it this game. If they could carry that play to the next game, the Oilers could get going. Yes, indeed. Nice little spark in the bottom 6 that was missing for the majority of the season. Back to the inbox a couple of times. This one says, boys, how come the other team's goalies make big saves? And for some reason, there's always excuses for Oilers goalies. Goalies get paid to make the huge saves, not the easy one. I would have loved to have seen Stuart Skinner stop that Rupe Hintz goal. The one on the power play that he kind of just jammed in. And I think Darnell Nurse was in the mix there, and it was all in front of him. I think that's one he should have had, or could have played better, or Nurse could have been better on that. I didn't like that. But the other ones, I mean, Duchesne's a lethal player and has been in this league for a good 10 years. The other Hintz goal, the Pavelski goal, those are tap-ins and a one-timer that Pavelski had teed up. Juicy, so juicy. I'm not blaming Stuart Skinner for those 2, or 3 actually, but that one Rupe Hintz goal on the power play, I didn't like that one. So I'll just say that. RBM says, after that second goal, I said, win or lose, this is freaking amazing. You just can't make that stuff up. The fact that at that age, Gags continues to get contracts is unreal. Jacked for him, says RBM. Tube Socks, not Tupac. Sorry, Tube Socks. Tube Socks says, I thought McDavid wouldn't have a shot at the Art Ross Trophy this year because the Oilers would be so focused on stout defense. I didn't think it was because he just simply wouldn't be producing at a Gagner-esque level. Thank you for that one, Tube Socks. Armand says, McDavid and Draisaitl both looked like they had checked out in the third period. Thank God for Gagner and Kane. Also, our goaltending needs help. Our goalie also needs to be able to make big saves. I hope no one makes excuses for Skinner tonight. Another subpar performance. Calgary doesn't count. Flames can't even score more than 2 goals in a game right now. Armin, thanks for the text. Appreciate it. Roland says, where has Connor and Leon scoring went? Sam Gagner made it look easy. All right, Matthew Wanek, you want to chime in here a little bit? How you doing over there? Good save. Appreciate that earlier when my audio cut out.
Your audio didn't cut out. It was something on my end back here. There's the computer had some little issues, and then when we got you up, you didn't go off screen, but your mic went off, and then it took you a while for your mic to come back on. I don't know why it didn't come back on right away, so that's where I threw to Sam, who, as people were saying in the nasty chat, made and his third goal of the night. You know, the EST hat trick, 2 goals on the ice, 1 save of Edmonton Sports Talk right there.
Bailing us out. What'd you make of the game, Maddie?
Yeah, it's not good. This isn't. I'm done with the comments from the past. Like, it's early in the season, and we're almost at the 10-game mark here. That's an 8th of the season, and this team hasn't been able to string back-to-back wins together. If it wasn't for Sam Gagner, this game wouldn't have ended up close in terms of the scoreboard. Just ultimately, that's what it is. I don't care about that they're an unlucky hockey team. I don't care that they're not getting breaks. Do you know why Sam Gagner scored one of his goals? He went to the net. He made his own breaks. This team's not doing enough of that. This team's not going out there and making their own luck, if you will. And
true.
This is a point where, like, I said this for the last couple of days, and I said it to you on the pregame shows before we brought on Cass. This is the closest I will be to saying now, panic for the Edmonton Oilers. Like that they've got to do something here pretty decent, maybe I don't want to go as far as saying completely significant, but maybe it is that far, where if they want to salvage this season, they're going to have to turn this around rather soon. Do I still think this team has the capability and the talent to make the playoffs? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But when you get behind the 8 ball so much, like we saw last year, what was one of the problems that the Oilers had going into the playoffs? You could argue they were a little too tired. Why? Because they had to play a lot of hockey and a lot of hard hockey in March and April. Why? Because they screwed up in December and January and faltered.
Yes.
And now they're faltering again right now. And that means they're going to have to make up this ground at some other point, and they're going to be tired again going into the playoffs if they get, like, when they get to that point. And hopefully the wheels don't just completely fall off on this season. I'm with you. This is a talented hockey team. They're better than what we have seen. But at the same time, we've also seen great hockey teams just have those years where things don't get going. And I'm worried right now at this point, because I said this all week, I'm now worried that they might not be able to figure this out this season. Because why, like, I don't care that the Stars are a good hockey team. They are. But the Oilers are supposed to be a great hockey team, too. The Oilers are in cup or bust mode. There's no hockey team that they should be worried about and that they should, their wins are against Nashville and Calgary. Like, this is a situation right now where it took Sam Gagner to turn this game around. And we all love that story, and it's great for having Sam Gagner for 2 goals. But this guy was in Bakersfield a few days ago. And that's why this game turned around, was because of Sam Gagner?
Yeah. I mean, that shouldn't happen. It's a great story that it did happen. But the fact of the matter is, it shouldn't happen. That's not supposed to be how this works. It's an indictment of where we are this season. It's kind of sad.
Well,
go ahead, Matty.
Well, it gets to a point where I'm trying to what do you do with this team? One of the things people say in the nasty, you fired the GM. That doesn't help your team this year. That does nothing for the on ice. That's not help.
The GM, he's done at the end of the year.
Exactly. Like, in the end, no matter what, that doesn't help your team in any way, shape, or form this season.
No.
And the firing of the coach, it's one of those, this team's done that so many times. How many more times can you do it? But then at the same time, I do think, at what point do you actually start having that conversation if you're going to salvage this season? Like, if we get to the end of this month and this team still hasn't turned it around, then that is completely up for discussion. Actually, more than up for discussion. It's going to be, I don't even know what's going to be debated. I think that's something that we could actually then see potentially. They have these next few weeks to turn that around, but right now you can't. You're not going to do that. They have the players, but why aren't they showing up? Why isn't this team coming out at the start of games and playing these full 60 minutes? This is the same players that are all saying cup or bust. These are the same players that all came in early September for Captain Skate because they wanted to start this season right. They wanted to get off to a good start. Well, that's 2 wins in 9 games. And it took Sam Gagner in Game 9 to turn a game around.
Matty, you are a hot little tamale tonight. Wow, I like that rant.
It's just one of those
very
things.
Frustrating.
And then it's.
But okay. I don't disagree with you, but what I do think is this is totally salvageable, and I can tell you that within the next week and a bit, we could be talking about a different story. You got Nashville on Saturday. Go win that game. Take care of business. Give us one of those 60-minute games you alluded to that they really haven't given us. Heritage Classic, sure. The game in Nashville, they still were spotty in that. Go take that 2 points from Nashville right away. If you don't, again, go and beat the Vancouver Canucks, who you've lost to twice with like one absolutely dog crap performance on opening night. And then another so-so kind of whatever follow-up the Saturday after. So go beat Vancouver, okay? Then you got your first 2-game win streak of the year. Then do not even mess around with the San Jose Sharks on Thursday. That team is in absolute turmoil right now. They're a tire fire. You take those 2 points from San Jose like you're supposed to on Saturday from the Nashville Predators. Then we're talking about potentially a 3-game winning streak. You're 1 game under 500. I know with the loser Bettman point and losing in OT, people don't consider that 500, but you could even up your win-loss total by Saturday in what should be a very big game in Seattle against the Kraken. And you know what? The tone changes by next Friday or even Thursday night. If, and right now it feels like a big if, the Oilers can rattle off 3 wins in a row here.
Okay, but with that, I could come back and go, this season started with 2 games against Vancouver, 1 against Nashville, and they're 1-2 after those. You know, like they should be Nashville. They could go get that. But there is nothing that I have seen right now this season from this team that I will feel comfortable in saying that they could go win their next 3 hockey games. They should beat this San Jose Sharks. I'm completely with you. That's the one. And the Nashville one is an interesting one because they own the Nashville Predators, but they also don't know well matinees. So I'm going to be intrigued to see which one wins out in that one. But I right now do not have confidence that this team could go into Vancouver and beat the Canucks. I do not have that confidence because they have shown me nothing this year to say that after a game against the Nashville Predators, even if they win that game 5-0, that they're going to be able to turn that around into another performance. That what we've seen instead is they're going to come out and they're going to lose that hockey game because they will have played a 20-minute hockey game or a 25-minute hockey game or a 30-minute hockey game. I'm with you that, yeah, it could easily be all turned around if they go win 3 of their next 3 games or 3 of their next 4 or 4 of the next 4. But we're getting to this point we're now going to be saying, okay, well, if they win 5 of their next 5, or they're going to need that 10-game heater. We're getting that point because this team hasn't been able to do it yet. True.
Very true. Very true. Totally understandable. Let's get to some more audio. Who do we have, Matty?
So, we heard from Sam Gagner. We also have Evander Kane and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and, of course, Coach Jay Woodcroft. So I'll let you choose where you want to go.
Okay. Let's you know what? Let's forego Ryan Nugent-Hopkins tonight. Let's go Evander Kane, and then we'll come back and do some breakdown of what he had to say, and then we'll wrap up with Jay Woodcroft.
Obviously, you want wins and you play well, but you guys you beat yourself and then you don't finish some key plays.
Yeah, I mean, we just made too many boo-boos tonight, yet again. I mean, you look at 3 of their goals are off the rush, they're odd man rushes, and they end up in the back of our net every time. We put up, we get some pucks to the net in the third period, we score some goals, but again, we can't expect to score 4 or 5 goals every night to win hockey games. It's not realistic.
What did you think of Sam? And it's quite a story. He's got a history of the franchise, and then showing up like this, and he seemed to really get everybody motivated and going.
Yeah, I mean that's veteran guys are important to hockey teams. I think a lot of times they get overlooked. The league's getting younger and younger, but if you want to win, you have to have veteran guys like that on your team because there's a lot of intangibles that come with it. And he was a real easy guy to play with in the third period there. Get pucks, play north, and drive the net, and he got rewarded with 2 goals.
What do you see what's lacking from your power play right now?
I don't know. I mean, Bush hit the post 3 times in the one, so I mean, I guess a bounce here and there would be lacking, but we have to again we're moving the puck well, or we're getting our looks, but we can't rely on the power play to win us hockey games. I mean, it's got to be, it's a nice bonus to score power play goals, but, we scored 3 even strength goals tonight. We gave up 3 and 1 on the power play, or on the PK. So we have to look to find ways to win. We can't just rely on the power play.
Yeah, that's a tough team to play against when you make a mistake on the rush. That's one of the better teams in the league on the rush.
Yeah, they're good on the rush. That Pete and those guys, they really work on their transition, and they got some speed. And like you said, we make mistakes. They have some skill and talent. They can finish those plays off, and that's what they did tonight.
The sense is that this is a good team. You're going to figure it out at some point, but it has to happen. Like, when do you start worrying?
Sense. I mean, we have to show it on the ice, and it'll start on Saturday afternoon.
How would you describe the mood right now?
I think it's. I think the mood is where it should be. Again, we know we're a good hockey team, but it's enough talking about it. It's time to work, and like I said, I think we worked tonight. We played a good hockey game in a lot of ways, but these big mistakes we can't continue to make.
Does that make it a little more frustrating? Just the fact that, like you said, you were right there, and the mistakes are the one things that hurt you.
I don't know if it's frustrating, but it's gotta stop, and if we do that, we're gonna really like the result.
You mentioned how they were good on transition. You guys got a lot of, you should be built to beat teams off the transition as well. Lots of your goals, have come from inside the zone, especially your line lately. What do you need to do to counter that transition yourself?
Yeah, I mean, again, it wasn't necessarily transition. It was odd man rushes, 3-on-1, 3-on-1, 2-on-1, right? So, we had some good transition moments ourselves. Like I said, I thought we took the game to them a great majority of the night. But, when you give teams those type of opportunities with the skill they have, you make it easy on them.
All right, so there is Evander Kane. A couple of quotes that we take away from that one. Too many boo-boos, putting it nicely. And then he dropped an expletive because, he's frustrated. And then he said, if we do that, we're going to like the result. And by that, he means eliminating the egregious errors, which continue to cost this team. Let's get to a couple of texts. 780-218-9999. Justin simply says, we are the Flames. From Justin. Ooh, don't say that, Justin. Don't even think like that, Justin. Come on. This text says, hey, Tommy, Derek here. Felt like there were too many mistakes on defense tonight. I know I sound like a broken record, but a lot of untimely mistakes that cost us the game. The spark of Gagner was great to see, Derek. I think you nailed it there. Thank you for the text. This one says, I understand Bouchard is near elite offensively, but are the Oilers ever going to hold him accountable for his defensive lapses? Looks disengaged and stops skating in the D zone all the time. That's from YYC_Flames, not for me. Thank you for the text. Northside Lou, good to see you the other day. Northside Lou says, Tommy G, good seeing you at Rogers Place. The dry McDavid line looks terrible. Overpasses and puck bobbles galore. It's clear that Connor is hurt. Playing dry with him is meant to shelter this. They are not playing together for the reason of the past. More offense. Dry is sheltering Connor. He can't even take a draw. Come on, Cass. Northside Lou. Good to see you, Northside Lou. Thank you. Sam Gagner is the coolest. No name on that text. But I think after tonight, if you didn't already think that, you do now. All right, Awanik, let's get to Jay Woodcroft and hear what the head coach has to say.
What would the level of concern be after another loss like today?
Well, we're disappointed that we lost the game. I thought it was a pretty competitive first period. I think we made some errors in the second period that led us to falling behind in the game, chasing the game. We made a really strong push in the third period, but when you spot a really good team that type of lead, it's tough to come back. 99 shot attempts, 50 on net, all that kind of stuff is, that's nice. But when you spot a good team, a lead like that, usually you don't end up on the right side of it.
The sense is that this is a good team and they'll figure it out and everything will be fine, but you also need to see it, and it's getting close to 10 games in. When do you start to worry that this might be who they are? Well,
I don't share your level of worry or concern, but our record is what our record is. I saw some good signs. I've seen some things in some players, improvement in players. I saw a team working very, very hard to try and make amends for falling behind, but ultimately we shot ourselves in the foot tonight. We're taking it one day at a time. We are taking it one game at a time, and we're looking to take a step here. If we'll carefully review this game. We'll go over every inch of it, and we're going to give our team something to help us improve heading into the next game. We're looking to win that next game and win a game here in the best building in the National Hockey League.
Jay, all the guys in the room were talking about how the Dallas Stars counterattack, the rush, was such a focal point of your out. What went awry in that regard tonight?
Well, I would say on our first goal, we ended up below the puck, and it was a misread on a pinch. It's a mistake, and we were made to pay. They had a 2-on-1, and they shot it in the net. The second goal, I would say that it was a puck management issue where at the end of a shift, we spent a few minutes in the offensive zone. We're trying to get a line change. We go to our backhand and we turn it over. Ends up in the back of our net on a quick up transition. Third one was a penalty kill off the rush. And the fourth one was, a rush that we'd like to play differently on the way back. That's what that team does. Is majority of their goals this year have come off the rush. In the end, we didn't do a good enough job, and they made us pay.
What goes through your mind as a coach when you put that emphasis on the game plan and the mistakes kind of.
Coaches are in it with our players. Nobody's trying to make a mistake. But in the end, the way it's going right now, when you're in the muck, kind of to Rob's question, when you're in the muck, those things end up in your net. We're going to take those learning moments and use them, but certainly we will pound on a lot of the positives in the game as well.
Jay, Sam Gagner got 2 goals in the third period. Did you think of playing a hunch and also playing him in the last minute or so?
I did, yeah. He was the next player up for us. We didn't get a whistle or an opportunity to change because we were in the offensive zone, but he was the next player up. And, he played a very good game for us. I think it's a good lesson for some guys that haven't scored in a long time to see where Sam had his offensive success tonight, right around the blue paint. It's a credit to him. He played a good game, and yes, he was the next man up.
And when Brown got hurt, you're already only dressing 11 forwards, so you're basically...
We're only able to dress 11 forwards.
You're down to 10.
Yeah.
When he got dressed, that's a long way to play the game when you only have 10 forwards.
Yeah.
To jockey people around.
Yeah, well, I thought we moved people around pretty well, but essentially at that point it becomes a 3-line game. And, I think we got 6.5 minutes out of Brown, something like that. But at that point it becomes a 3-line game, and you're doing whatever you got to do to try and find a little chemistry. And we were able to find that in the third period, something to build on heading into tomorrow.
Jay, you talked about with your power play, it's not always how many, but sometimes when and time. And that second period, Bouchard, I don't know if it was 2 or 3 posts in one sequence. It's not like they're doing it wrong, but what do you need to see more from your power play to get that key goal to key time?
Yeah, you nailed it. I think we hit either 2 crossbars in 1 post or 3 posts or, something along those lines. When you're rolling, those drop for you. When you're not rolling, they go off the bar and they're out. What do we have to do? I think there is another level to our execution. We talk in the coach's office. That's when your great whites kind of feed is at that time. And right now, it's not that it's been poor. It hasn't been poor, below average, or anything like that. It just hasn't been yet to our standard of execution. You mentioned the big moments. I thought that was a critical part of our game today. Was finding a goal on the power play when we're down 2-on-1. I thought that would have been huge for us. It didn't drop, and in the end, we lost by 1 goal today.
Connor Brown was off a face-off. It was a non-contact. It looked like he just took 2 steps. And what can you tell us about it?
I haven't gone back and dealt with the medical staff, but it looked muscular more than anything.
Okay, so there was Jay Woodcroft following his team's 4-3 loss to the Dallas Stars. Matthew Iwanek, you had something on your mind?
Yeah, I want to throw a question to you here. Jim Matheson asked Jay about Sam Gagner not being on the ice at the end of the game and what his thoughts were. And he said it was the next man up. If they had to change, that he would have been out there.
Yeah.
Where do you stand on him not being out there to start that as the 6? Because from one perspective, like I do get you don't pull your biggest guns out there. But he was the guy that sparked this team around. He's the guy that was going to those rough areas. He was the guy that was playing the best for the Oilers tonight, you could argue. Do you not go with the guy in the moment who is playing the best of that 60 minutes as opposed to the predefined best players of your team throwing them out there? Where do you come out on this?
Yeah, that's one of the things I noticed in that last minute and a half. And I thought to myself, okay, they're going to throw Kane out there because he was having a game. They're going to throw Gagner out there because he caught fire in the third period. And then you mix in, McDavid, Draisaitl certainly, Bouchard obviously, and then pick between Hyman and Nugent Hopkins. Like I if they didn't put Hyman or Nugent Hopkins out there and they put Gagner out there instead, I would have been okay with that. My first instinct when I saw that empty net and who was out there was, why isn't Sam Gagner out there? You heard Woodcroft say he was playing a hunch. Well, the hunch is to put him out there before. And listen, I know that this was a small sample size. Gagner played 13 minutes tonight, but the guy scored two damn goals in his return to the team, where he's probably going to spend a lot of the rest of his life. His wife's family's from here. He's been an Oiler 3 times now. You go with it. He's had magic in this city wearing that jersey before. That was my thought. And, I understand. And I figured he was probably the next man out. And Woodcroft said that, but I would have put him out there. That's just me, though, Matty.
Well, on Tango and the Nasty Chat goes, they went with the PP unit plus Kane. But here's the counter I would have for that is, that's great that you went with your power play, but your power play wasn't doing it tonight. They're 0 for 4.
0 for.
That's the situation. That to me even goes more so. You probably then should have went with Sam Gagner and messed with that because your power play wasn't having the success tonight. Why not go with the guy? And I guess I should have thrown Kane in there. Make sure Kane and Gagner and McDavid and Draisaitl are the 4 guys on the ice, and then you mix up the other 2 with whoever else you need to get to.
Yeah. I would have had him out there, Matty, and I think everybody who was watching that game or listening to that game would have done the same thing. And he was next man up, I guess, but I would have been like, go do something. Give us a spark, Sam, because that was a night where he was feeling it and did cash in on that. So that's me, and that's how I feel about it. I was surprised he wasn't out there, and I couldn't even rationalize it. At this point, you got the Stars playing good hockey this season. Just throw Sam Gagner out there. The guy's given you everything, and he's had that magic before, but alas, that's why we're not NHL head coaches, I guess. All right, let's wrap up with a couple of texts, and then we do have to get to the player of the game. You could take a wild guess who it might be for the Oilers. This text from Oily Doughboy says, Tommy, Helen Keller or Fogle on a breakaway. Who scores first? Well, I mean,
oh my God.
I know. I had to read that one. Oily Doughboy with the zinger. Fogle did hit the post on the outside of the post on that breakaway that he did work for. Well played, Oily Doughboy. Good to hear from you. Another text from Big Dave says, hey guys, am I wrong in thinking in the dying moments that having Nuge, Hyman, and Dry on the ice to finish the game seemed pointless? None of these guys or McDavid were a factor in this game. Kane, Fogle, and Gagner would have been better in my mind. They played with more give a crap than any of the top guys tonight. Dave, I kind of agree with you. All right, we have to get to one more order of business for tonight. It is the player of the game, brought to you by Damon Bunting, RE/MAX Elite. Damon Bunting, consistent, top-producing realtor in Greater Edmonton and among RE/MAX realtors. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. He's community-driven, understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out at DamonBunting.com or visit his Instagram, Damon Bunting Real Estate. Good dude overall. And if you're looking to get to the market or sell, check out Damon Bunting. And shocker, player of the game for the Oilers tonight with 2 goals plus 2, 3 hits, 5 shots on net, 83.3% on the faceoff dot in 13 minutes of work. The one and only Sam Gagner gets our Damon Bunting RE/MAX Elite player of the game. Completely earned it. I would have had him out there late in the game to wrap things up, maybe get the equalizer. The guy was on fire. The natural hat trick, more magic from Gagner. Why not? Why not? I have one more I want to get to. I think you're going to be able to appreciate this. It's via the Nasty Chat, Matthew. And you can also chime in on this because I think it's kind of funny if he's still watching. I'm trying to find it. Nasty Chat was humming along all night. And it was from YouTube Trev,
I saw this one.
Off. Yep. He said, lots of energy in the building tonight, eh, Tommy? YouTube Trev. Yes, there was lots of energy tonight in the building. YouTube Trev, who was there.
There was another one he had.
Where
like
was the other
right
one?
at the beginning. I got to see if I think we ran out. Like it doesn't go more, but he says, I'm upset or something.
Okay.
That was something. That's all it was. Just I'm upset, Tommy.
Yeah. I wanted to read that one about the energy in the building because he was in the building tonight. Why, Matthew?
Well, I'm hoping he's not listening right now. I hope he's,
Oh, come on.
Well, he's on a date.
He's on a date.
Yeah, so he better not be listening to us right now. He was listening to. He was messaging in a little bit. I hope that was just as they're walking to their car or whatever. Like, but he better now still not be listening to us. Well, we've been streaming for 74 minutes. He better be well done with us here. But he's on a date.
I hope so. He's on a date. A lovely lady wanted to take him on a birthday date because it is his birthday. And
tomorrow.
Hopefully, tomorrow. So
big 2-5 for him.
He's turning into an old man. So hopefully YouTube Trev is not listening or watching right now and having a nice time with his date. Well earned because the kid's kicking butt, and we certainly appreciate and love him. But Maddie, thanks for stepping in for YouTube Trev tonight. Appreciate it. I think the show, all things considered, we had a lot of fun.
Yes.
Despite the Oilers' lack of success.
And the little glitch we had in the show. And to Tango, I wasn't trying to come at you with that comment. I was just going off of what you said with the power play, and just want to throw that out there before we wrap up.
Fair enough. All right, the Oilers will look to rebound. I don't know how many times we have to say it early in this season. When they take on the Nashville Predators, Saturday afternoon, 1 o'clock puck drop. We are on the air, Sean Bell and I, with Hello Hockey at 10 a.m. We'll take Hello Hockey for its regularly scheduled time slot till noon. And then from noon to 1, Cass will hop on and we will get you the Oil Stream pregame show as the Oilers look for their third win of the season. And we'll see if they can get back into the win column. They should. Next week is a big one. They get the Canucks. They get the San Jose Sharks, who got absolutely dummied by the Canucks tonight. I think Jimmy just texted us in the nasty chat saying the Canucks got 10 on the Sharks. That game is still in the third period. Unbelievable. The Oilers need to put together a few wins here. 2-6-1. No bueno. I don't care how good the Dallas Stars are, but those mistakes need to stop. We'll see if Edmonton can do it on Saturday afternoon. With that being said, for Matthew Iwanek, for Matt Cassian, YouTube Trev, I hope you're having fun tonight. I'm Tom Gazzola saying thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Thank you for texting in. Nasty chat. You guys are always great. We appreciate you. Hit that thumbs up button. And if you haven't already subscribed to the EST YouTube channel, please do. We appreciate it. And we look forward to catching up with you tomorrow. Another full day of great content and programming right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. And then for the pre and post game show, we'll see you on Saturday. Good night, everyone.